The Basic Education Department says it's putting measures in place to ensure that the safety of pupils and teachers is guaranteed. There's been a spate of violent incidents in schools across the country. We're joined now by Basic Education Department Deputy Director of Communications, that's Thobeka Magcai. Ms. Magcai, thank you very much for your time. So, what measures are you, as the Department of Basic Education, taking in order to ensure safety of not just pupils but also teachers in schools?
Thank you for inviting us, Koli. As the department, we actually welcome the engagement and the discussion that is currently taking place now in society, because we recognize that the issue of violence and gangsterism is not something that the department alone can fix. The measures that we have taken, that we have put in place, our schools, we've got a protocol agreement with the South African Police Service where 18,000 of our schools are connected to the nearest police station within their vicinity. Our concern, however, is that despite the measures that are in place, it seems that the violence is increasing and we are seeing increased incidents of violence. In your view, as a department, what are the contributing factors to this increase, this resurgence of violence? Yes. From our observation, we have seen that it's issues related to matters that have not been adequately addressed. So, in other words, if you look at the issue in the northwest, where the learner stabbed an educator, the educator was reprimanding the learner for jumping the queue, and the learner simply just walked off, came back the next day and stabbed the educator, So it concerns us that learners are not taking the authority of educators seriously. Mm-hmm. It concerns us that learners don't seem to listen to their educators when they're being reprimanded. There's this anger that seems to come forward and that causes them to even act out in a violent manner. And I'm going to come back to that point very quickly of perhaps society influencing the behavior of children. But there has recently been a call, particularly from SATU. In fact, they're saying that they've been following your department relentlessly in terms of putting measures such as metal detectors inside schools in order to make sure that children do not bring instruments that they can use to inflict injuries on others and teachers. What has your response been to that request of placing metal detectors at schools, and is it working? Have you installed them anywhere? Well, that can be one of the solutions, but however, we do have the police that on occasion would come and do unannounced visits. There have been situations where illegal substances and weapons have been found in possession of learners. And in such situations, immediately we take disciplinary action against those learners. Parents are called in. However, there's been also a call that for teachers to be armed, and we don't agree with that. We vehemently reject such a call for teachers to be armed, because you'll have a situation where learners are bringing in weapons, teachers are also armed, and it's just a war zone. I mean, we wouldn't want to see any bloodbath in our schools. So it does concern us a great deal. You heard me ask Dr. Mampile Rampele about whether or not the failure here is with the parents. One pupil speaking at a memorial service at Forest High stating that they can't blame teachers for the failures of parenting. Are parents to blame, and what are parents supposed to be doing at home? What we have found as a department is that some schools would actually complain that when they call parents' meetings, you will probably have 30% turnout of parents. So we are concerned about the lack of parental involvement. It is a major concern. Hence, we have actually called, we are urging parents to make sure that, they check the learner school bags, they keep in touch with their learners as well, find out how the day was at school for the day. And if they notice any behavior that, change in behavior, maybe anger, that they should discuss and talk about it. Also keep tabs with the school, keep e-progress, the progress of the learner, how they're performing in school. That's the only way that parents can actually, have hands-on approach on what is happening. So parent involvement. So, would you say that is the differential factor between the public school environment and the private schooling environment? It is possibly one of the differentiating factors. We strongly have been continuously calling for parental involvement. You'll also find a situation where a learner has been called, or they're called for a disciplinary action, and parents simply don't pitch. Then they just say, no, the school must deal with it. Or the parents are also in denial, and they're defensive instead of being present and finding out, okay, what did my child do? How is it that I can assist, this process moving forward? It doesn't help if parents are also defensive if a learner has been caught to be violating the school code of conduct.